What is the perfect ride for a youth pastor, in your opinion?
When you said the perfect ride, are we talking about...
Vehicle.
Okay, I thought we were talking about amusement parks. I didn't
See, that's funny. Like, I'm cool. I'm hip still, right? So I'm saying ride.
If you're cool, you'd say whip. I'm just telling you.
Fair enough. But what is the ideal
ride for a youth pastor? I mean, I want to say minivan just because it fits that vibe, but...
That's mine. And here's my rationale for it. For one, maybe I had a...
I was about to say, I've been in that world.
Growing up, my family did not have a minivan later in life, but it only opened on one side, right?
Yeah.
So when you TP'd somebody's house, y'all had the game changer was
double,
both.
Automatic.
And you can take the seats out so you can put more stuff when you're buying for retreat at Costco. Like, I just feel like, even if you're a single youth pastor, rock the minivan. So anyway, that was just, I'm glad.
To me, it was more about just embracing I'm all in on this thing, right? Like, yeah. But that's good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Speaking of minivans, this is just going to work perfectly, and maybe not. But minivans, moms go from being soccer moms from the 4th, 5th graders, then into 6th graders, and so maybe their vehicle change. Okay, I
was looking for your transition there. You were close.
I feel like I'm still there. But anyway, we're talking about promotion season, man. We're talking about taking incoming 5th graders to 6th grade, kicking out your 8th graders going into 9th grade.
9th grade, yeah.
Promotion season.
Promotion season, a super exciting time.
It really is.
There's nothing better than bringing those, again, your 6th graders in out of your children's ministry, or maybe your 8th graders into your senior high ministry. I know everybody
trying
does
to bite my
different.
lip, thinking when you said that, and I was thinking the 5th grade boys that are now in 6th grade, the first half of the year, they are still 5th graders. The girls transition, but the guys, you're like, I was trembling a little bit.
As a longtime youth worker, I would say most of your boys are still in 5th grade, well into the 7th grade.
Okay, fair enough, yeah, okay.
One of the things we can do to help make this a really meaningful time of transition is to consider rites of passage, right? Like, let's create big moments that become rites of passage in your youth ministry. There's that thing that 6th graders get to do, rising 6th graders, they get to do every summer before they start your fall, right? To where you create those shared experiences. That when you talk about that event, there's a common language, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody knows,
remember when.
Yeah, when you talk about the blob at the 6th grade lake retreat, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that when I was in 6th grade, right? The same thing for your 9th graders.
I remember getting on Mr. Johnny's boat 2 and 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so it doesn't matter for at our church, we have a 6th grade mission trip we've been doing for like 17, 18 years.
Get out.
So again, I mean, same community.
Yeah.
And so it's just a great shared experience. Our 9th grade, we've tried really hard we call it one-up weekend, like when you go into senior high, just a big event where and your small group leaders are involved. You know,
special.
Parents are maybe involved where it's a special, rite of passage is the word I use, but just to make it feel like it's something big that they can buy into.
I mean, it's funny you say that. My oldest daughter is going to be a senior. And I remember,
still can't get over that.
I remember her first youth pastor, Nick Tompkins. We were in Fort Collins, Colorado. I remember sitting in a backyard on a blanket, and it was around August, and he gave us all a jar, like just a mason jar, cool. And it had bubble gums in it. And it accounted for every month that she was until she graduated.
Oh, wow.
Well, that jar is awfully empty now. My wife cries at the jar, and I just stare at the jar like, are you serious? Anyway, just a kind of a cool thing to for parents even to get this. But this idea of make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Make it a big deal in the lives of a student, in the lives of your leaders alongside of you, in the lives of parents. Make it a big deal, because it is a big deal. They have been seeing, as 5th graders, they've been seeing all the fun that's been happening. As a 7th and 8th grader, you've been seeing all the fun that's been happening in senior high. Make it a big deal when they transition.
And you said something, as we were talking about this earlier, that you can that even goes to your existing students.
Oh,
it
my
doesn't
goodness,
just have to be about your 9th graders, but let your current your 11th graders, your 12th graders be a part of that. And then when you do that, you almost kind of cast vision for your 9th graders. Hey, one day I'm going to be up there doing that thing.
Yeah.
Another way we can make it a big deal is provide a gift.
Provide a gift. Yeah. Or I almost said like a welcome kit.
Yeah,
it's
I think that's
how
structured
cool. Can I make it sound a welcome gift, you know? But really it is, it's this, if you're talking about rites of passage and they're coming in, I'm drawn from my daughter right now. Just she's in
that zone.
She's in a little leadership group this summer, and the very first time that they met, she got these 8 points, and it just says the RC. This is how the RC rolls, and it's just kind of their student ministry, and it was these points, and it was given to her as a gift. But even just think about maybe a devotion. What does it look like for a 6th grader? And Lars Ruud wrote a great devotion that is 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. I'm sorry, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Pair it with another discipleship book that this is the expectation. Or maybe it's swag. You're getting shirts printed. Welcome to youth ministry. Probably not welcome to youth ministry, but you get what I'm saying.
It's a better shirt than that.
Yeah, but it's something that they're excited about, because just them moving into this is going to be some major excitement. Capitalize on that. And I say memorialize it. Give it a lot of firepower, and I think a gift could do that, because a student will go through it and they'll remember when. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it anchors them to that moment of transition in their life. I think the last thing that we talked about really kind of help make this promotion significant is to cast vision for them. Of what who they're supposed to be.
Sorry.
Oh, no. I mean, we're kind of bouncing back and forth. I think you were talking about expectations. We use the word indoctrination. That's the wrong word, right? But it's the idea of
because it comes with a lot of baggage.
That's right. But what it means to be a member of this community. But I think what I was thinking about casting vision was more of almost point to, and again, this is not the right language, but you almost want to point to that ideal member of your youth group, right? You want to hold up a guy or a gal and say, hey, or obviously maybe not single them out, but it's like, this is the expectation. You're not just coming here to be a warm body. Like,
I'm literally picturing like a pedestal, and you're like Andrew,
would you
come up here, and the spotlight comes down, and you're like, Andrew,
but here's the
perfect.
Funny thing, though. We all know that kid that you could put on that pedestal and be like, man, if all of you could just be like this guy.
But don't do it.
Don't do it.
But cast a vision for people like that Andrew.
And for spiritual growth and spiritual development, that you're not just joining this social club. You're not just joining a part. You are becoming a part of a body of believers that's growing in Christ likeness. And over the next 6 years, over the next 4 years, you're going to experience tremendous growth. And the goal is that you would leave here not just taking, but giving back. Create that expectation, that vision. The goal is, regardless of what you do, make this important. Don't just let them move from classroom A to classroom B, right? Like, help this transition be a big deal in their life.
There's a great book that our team read, and Terrence, you're sitting in here. Is it called The Power of Moments? So is that the book by Chip and Dan Heath?
Oh, that's right.
I think they did a really good job. If you want to check it out, you can read it. But it talks about the most pivotal moments that we celebrate happen on the juvenile side of life, right? So we're talking about birthdays. Usually when we get older, it's not as big of a deal. But you're talking about promotion Sundays in this. You're going from 5th to 6th grade, 9th grade or 8th grade to 9th grade. Your graduation, and then maybe a college graduation, your first vocational job, and then it's getting married, your first bank account. But then by the time you get old, like, there's not a ton to celebrate, right? Now you're celebrating somebody else's things, your daughter's accomplishment, your son's accomplishment.
I didn't have to have hip replacement,
Yet. So with that, though, is that I think you can set that vision, the tone, and make this a really big deal, because it is something the students will look back on and be like, that was an important time. Versus just, hey, we got some new faces in the room. Open to 1 Peter. Let's work through this. So thanks so much for joining us today. It's a joy to come alongside of you in the trenches of youth ministry. We say in the trenches because sometimes that's where the most valuable work happens. On the front lines of a battle is right there in the trenches. And we feel like sometimes we're in a battle, and we are, for the health and the development, spiritual development of students. We're right there alongside of you. Thanks for all that you do. We can't wait to connect with you soon.